In mid-2023, Sydnie, a solo traveler and stealth camper, returned to one of the first places she ever camped alone, a small lakeside clearing in rural Tennessee. It had been peaceful back then, almost comforting, but this time, something felt different.
To the campsite that I stayed at the very first night that I camped out by myself. Hopefully there's nobody there because there's only like 2 spots there.
She had just left Nashville and drove an hour out, picking up groceries along the way. Her goal was simple: find the same spot, set up camp beside the lake, and spend a quiet night under the stars. By late afternoon, Sydnie had her camp in place and was unwinding. The usual sounds of nature surrounded her: leaves drifting down, acorns dropping, the splash of fish breaking the surface. No people, no traffic, no danger. At least that's how it started.
It's kind of odd sitting in silence here.
But as the sun dipped behind the treetops, the mood shifted. Sydnie began hearing something strange. Not animal sounds, not wind, something else. Distant, faint, but growing. Then a sharp crack, and another. She froze. "What is that?" she whispered, scanning the shadows between trees.
Is that?
Instinctively, she reached for her weapon, tucking it close without panicking. Her nerves sharpened. She stayed low, lights dimmed, ears tuned to every shift in the dark. Whatever it was seemed to move quietly but deliberately from one side of the woods to another. And then, silence.
Anyways, dinner is served. I really hope that wasn't like a mountain lion or something. But I'm not gonna let it scare me to stay in my car. I packed all my stuff up so that if I do need to like just close this, I only have this.
No running, no growl, just stillness. Eventually, she was cautiously unarmed and continued her night. Dinner was served. But even as the calm returned, she couldn't shake the idea that something or someone had been out there, just watching.
That was so weird. I heard it move too. It like moved from like there to over there.
One follower thanked her for showing the side of America we rarely see, while another was just relieved she had protection, saying her safety was all that mattered. Some called her brave. Others urged her to never let her guard down. Everyone agreed on one thing: stealth camping might sound peaceful, until the woods decide otherwise. In 2014, a father took his kids on what was supposed to be a simple nighttime adventure through the dense woodlands of Hummel Park. With flashlights in hand and curiosity in their eyes, they wandered into the dark, completely unaware that something was watching from the shadows.
What's what? Come on. We're gonna follow this trail. Hold on, look where the trail. Come here now. Come here with me right now. Come here. There's a blood.
At first, it felt like just another walk through the trees. That was until they stumbled across something chilling, a trail of lit candles stretching along the forest floor. At the end of that trail, a blood-stained t-shirt.
Where? Where?
Right there!
Where?
Behind the tree!
What tree?
That tree!
Which one?
That
Where?
It was no longer just a casual stroll. They followed the path cautiously, flashlights cutting through the thick darkness. And that's when one of them froze. Something, or someone, was hiding behind a tree. The light caught it briefly. Pale, humanoid, staring, not moving, not blinking. The white face wasn't natural, and neither was the silence.
Where?
Instinct kicked in. They bolted. Panic broke out. Shouts filled the trail as the group stumbled back to the car, desperate to escape whatever that thing was. They thought it was over, but the father couldn't leave without knowing the truth. Despite his children's pleas, he turned the car around to double back to check and ensure no one was hurt.
Oh my gosh. You weren't kidding.
You did this one up
No.
there.
That's when things got worse. Driving slowly along the road, his headlights lit up the figure again. This time, it was walking straight down the middle of the road. Tall, still pale, still watching. Its movements were strange, and its presence utterly wrong. He tried to reverse, fumbling for control as the creature veered off into the woods and vanished again into the blackness.
Whoa, whoa, wait a minute.
There's no one in the tree.
Where? Where?
Right there.
Where?
That's the tree.
What tree?
That tree.
Which one?
That one.
Where?
Right there. Yeah.
Which one? This one here?
What do you think we're talking about? There he is.
The internet had a lot to say. Some were shocked that the dad even brought his kids into the park at night. Others couldn't believe he turned around after seeing something so obviously unnatural. In December 2017, a YouTuber known as Rody uploaded a video that broke away from the usual peaceful tone of his off-the-grid travel content. Known for documenting life on the road, Rody typically shares tranquil views, quiet routines, and the occasional wilderness survival tip. But this time, things were different. While camping overnight in his truck, parked in an otherwise empty lot, Rody was awoken around 1:30 a.m. by the sound of footsteps. A hooded man, unaware he was being watched, circled the vehicle and took pictures of the license plates. The back of the truck, where Rody lay hidden, was cloaked in darkness. The man likely assumed it was empty. For several minutes he lingered, slowly making his way around the truck. Then, he approached the side and shone a flashlight directly into the vehicle. That's when Rody struck the inside of the truck with his fist, making his presence known. The reaction was immediate. The man bolted into the darkness, vanishing without a word. What his intentions were is anyone's guess: theft, confrontation, or something much worse. But one thing is clear: had Rody remained silent just a little longer, the outcome could have been far more dangerous. Viewers responded with concern and practical advice. Some stressed the importance of choosing safer locations, suggesting hotel parking lots as a better alternative. Others saw the incident as a chilling reminder that the most isolated spots can sometimes be the most vulnerable, and that danger doesn't always come from the wilderness. Sometimes it walks right up to your door. What do you think he was planning that night? In March 2022, Zach, an experienced urban explorer, had spent years venturing into forgotten buildings and long-abandoned sites, but this trip would shake even his steady nerves. Deep in a forested land, he stumbled upon a decaying tunnel, dark, damp, and unsettling.
Okay, guys, let's get into it and just make sure this is set up good. Okay.
He had his camera, a flashlight, and a weapon, just in case. What began as a standard walkthrough quickly turned sinister. As he crept deeper into the tunnel, something shifted. The silence grew heavy. Then, he noticed them. Bare, wet footprints on the tunnel floor. Human-sized but eerily wrong. And then came the scream.
What the fuck? Nope. I'm dipped now. Fuck this shit. I don't know what that is.
It didn't sound like a person. It didn't sound like any animal he'd ever heard. It was raw and ragged. Something that clawed its way out of the shadows and echoed off the cold walls. Zach panicked. He ran. Even after he reached daylight, the sound lingered, like something unseen had followed him out. He never went back. Viewers were quick to weigh in. Some swore it was a mountain lion's scream, warped by the tunnel's acoustics. One theory stood out. Whatever made that noise wasn't interested in scaring him away. It wanted him to follow. But what do you think? Was it an animal? A spirit? Or something far more ancient and angry? On February 11th, 2024, stealth camper and YouTuber Brendan Explores uploaded a video that documented a night he'll likely never forget. What began as a curious visit to Jaywick, a small English village with a rough reputation, quickly devolved into a horrifying and dangerous encounter. Jaywick has long been labeled as one of the most deprived towns in the UK.
Is very popular with dog walkers, so I'm gonna have to hang fire a little bit until everybody's buggered off home before I could set up camp.
Okay, Brendan had heard the rumors of poverty, crime, and tension, but wanted to judge for himself. At first, it seemed like any other coastal village. But things began to shift as night fell. Searching for a discreet place to park his van, he...
That in there like that. That's not gonna fit, I don't think. Well, that's not bad, is it?
He avoided a chaotic parking lot where people blasted music and raced cars through the narrow streets. Hoping to stay safe, Brendan made the right call at the time. He left town and parked deep in the countryside, miles from any signs of life. It was a mistake. At 2:30 a.m., Brendan was jolted awake by footsteps around his van. Moments later, someone tried to slide the door open.
Mr. Owl's out. That's up near where I saw that camp. So this might be a wrong move. Pigeons. Don't know if this is a good idea now. Come on, we need to go have a look, don't we?
Then, a loud crash. The passenger side window shattered as an intruder tried to break in. Brendan shouted and the person fled into the dark. He later speculated that the break-in may have been an attempt to steal a fridge inside. 20 drugu visum. But many viewers believed it could have been much worse, especially given how isolated the spot was. Some commented that
Hello? Fende, come here.
Even heavy curtains couldn't fully hide signs of life inside, and others shared their own experiences being attacked by neighbors or strangers while camping alone. That night, Brendan didn't sleep again. He drove until sunrise just to get home, and while he still posts camping videos, he now avoids remote spots, because sometimes silence isn't peaceful, it's a warning. Dinner was served.
Cream of tomato soup. Roast beef, Munster Munch. Not the best flavour, is it? Like pickled onion for me.
But even as one follower thanked her for showing the side of America we rarely see, while another was just relieved she had protection, saying her safety was all that mattered. Some called her brave. Others urged her to never let her guard down. Everyone agreed on one thing: stealth camping might sound peaceful, until the woods...
That says the end there. Is it upside down? Why would it be upside down? Is Genesis the first passage of the Bible? I don't know. It's got some scribbling on there.
Decide otherwise. Someone was hiding behind a tree. The light caught it briefly. Pale, humanoid, staring. In March 2025, the camping channel Sort of Interesting uploaded a video that began as a peaceful woodland adventure and ended in a chilling brush with the unknown. The plan was simple: hike the trails near Ostry, England, then head off path to find a secluded spot for stealth camping.
Alaskan rainforest, and I brought my hot tent because it's supposed to be a blizzard tonight. Woo!
It started off well. Daniel quickly found a perfect clearing hidden from view. After setting up camp, he wandered to a nearby river to cook dinner. By the time he returned, dusk had settled in. The trails emptied. Silence took over. It was the kind of quiet campers dream of until it turned into something far more sinister. 90 minutes after falling asleep, Daniel was jolted awake by the sound of branches cracking nearby. A beam of light swept through the trees. Someone or...
Throw in green onions. All right, just put a little cilantro and basil in there. A beautiful lamb stew.
Something was out there, and they weren't just passing by. They were staring right at him. Frozen with fear, Daniel could barely breathe. He finally called out to the figure. No response. Instead, the flashlight turned off, and the person vanished into the woods without a word. He waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Nothing. Unsure what to do, he packed his things and fled into the night. Some viewers suggested the figure could have simply been a dog walker startled by Daniel's voice. Others felt it was far more deliberate, someone sneaking through the woods, possibly drawn in by the light from his headlamp.
I was woken up by big chunks of snow falling off the trees onto the tent. The wind's picked up a little bit, so it's happening a fair amount. But I think it's time to get up.
A few pointed out how drastically perception shifts after dark. What feels harmless by day becomes terrifying after sunset. Many agreed that leaving was the right call, because in the woods, curiosity doesn't always come with good intentions. What would you have done if you were in Daniel's place? These campers captured moments no one was meant to see. Sometimes it's not the wilderness that is dangerous. It is what follows you into it. If you have had a chilling outdoor experience, please share it in the comments and stay safe. Vehicle and took pictures of the license.
There's a good 18 inches of snow on top of my old tracks from yesterday. It's like...
Several minutes he lingered, slowly making his way around the truck. Then He approached the side and shone a flashlight directly into the vehicle. That's when Rhodey struck the inside of the truck with his fist, making his presence known. The reaction was immediate.